Arson, I'm so excited about this project. I'm very excited. Woo. Okay, so to start, we're going to build the foundation first. I call it the foundation because it's the bench. We'll start with the bench. We want it to be solid because of course people will sit on it. So we want it to be solid, and then we'll build out from that with the planters. So what we'll do is we'll take two 2x4 by 96-inch or 8 feet long boards, piece of wood, and we'll cut them down according to the height that you want. I'm choosing 21 inches high because I made a bench for the inside, and 21 inches just works well for me. So I'm gonna stick with that. So I'll need 8 of those cut, all of them at 21 inches. So let's do that. That will be the legs for the bench, and then we'll go to the next step. Together the legs for the bench. Now it's time to continue to build the foundation for the bench, but at this part of it, I need to determine what length I want the bench to be and the width that I'd like the bench to be. And because I've built a bench similar, I know that I like to have 4 1x4s next to each other for the width. And the length I have measured and cut at 40 inches, and that's what these measurements will be based on. But the length and the width is up to you. And what I will also do, I've taken this ruler stick and I've placed it between each of the 4 1x4s just to give it a little bit of expanding room. So I don't know if it needs that much, but that's what I use to measure it. So since I already know those measurements, now in order to continue building up the bench on the inside with the foundation, right now I need to measure the insides of these 2x4s because I have to put a 2x4 across here and this way, so it'll be a rectangle shape when I'm done. These two measured out to about 9.5, and these two measured out to 34 and about 5/8. So they should fit snug inside of the legs, and we want to put these in first before we put the others. So we have those in, and now we'll just have to put these in, and I like to measure it before I screw anything down and secure it. I like to make sure that everything is measured out just the way it's supposed to be first. All right, so if this is correct, one of the bench boards should be the exact length, and it is. Okay, so the bottom portion has been secured and in place, and for just extra security, I have some 2x4 to place in the center right here all the way to the bottom, because when I turn this up, that's where the bench will go. This is actually the bottom of the bench, and I had enough to put right here to secure that, and right here to secure this. The foundation of the bench has been put together and it's good and sturdy, and now it's time to work on the actual seat portion of the bench. So to do that, I will just flip this over, and as you're flipping, nothing should wiggle or jiggle. It should be solid. So now I will take the 1x4s that I have already cut, and I will place those across the top with just a little, I don't know if you can see it, but just a little, maybe an inch overlay in the front and in the back, with the little pieces in between, measuring some space between each board. Now it's time to place the seat on top of the bench using the 1x4s. And since I have a 2x4 here and all these 2x4s, I can use those as support to screw down the seat from the top. So I'll take advantage of that. So now what I want to do is put them all in place, sort of where I want them to be. The bench has been made and it looks fine the way it is, but remember, we want planters on each side of the bench, and they will all connect together and make one piece. So in order to make the planter, you'll have to, whatever size or height you chose for your bench, just add an inch to it, because you want that bench, the planter, to be at least 1 inch taller than the bench. So I've cut because you'll need 2x4s to do that, because what you'll do is you'll make those same legs that you made for the bench for the planter. And this one, as you can see, is about an inch taller. It's about an inch taller. So, and that's what you want. So right now, I will go and cut 7 more of these 2x4s, and I will screw them together just as I did the legs for the bench. I completed the 4 legs that will go on each corner of the planter. And this is how we'll assemble the planter. We first have to measure. The first leg will go beside the bench but flush with the bench on the side. The other side will go this way, because we're forming somewhat of a square. And the others, it just depends on how you measure them and how wide you want your planter. You measure the insides of these 2x4s, and you'll get 1x4s, and you will place them inside, starting at the top. And you'll go down until you reach the size of pretty much the size of one of these at the bottom. You want to leave this much space at the bottom. And I believe it will hold at least 4 of them until it gets to the bottom, and then you just stop and you'll screw the 1x4s into this 2x4. And actually, you can do that without it being next to the bench, and then once the planter has been built, you bring it back to the bench and sit it inside. you can see, the planter is almost complete. There are a couple of more things I might do to it, but for the most part, the bench is fitting snug inside the planter, inside the two 2x4s here, which is what it was supposed to do. And I have not yet screwed it to the bench with the 2x4s that are on the bench on the opposite side of the planter. And I haven't done that yet because I do want to add some 2x2s on the opposite side, on the inside of this wall right here. And it's because you have to determine the depth of the plant that you want to put in here. And I might take mine down, definitely not to the all the way down, but at least to the third board. And on the opposite side, I can put a 2x2 there, and I'll screw it to the 1x4 on this side and on this side, opposite of each other. And then if you have some scrap wood, I have some scrap wood, but I probably will use a 1x4 since I have some left over. And I will measure it and lay it on top of the 2x2s, maybe 2 or 3, just to make a bottom for the plant to sit on, or, you know, just a bottom for my plant. I had them to mix a solid color, and that's what color I chose. And to make this easier, I will pull the planters away from the bench right now, and that way I can make sure everything is covered and sealed, because it's weatherproof and 1-coat exterior stain and seal. So that means I don't have to go back over my stain with polyacrylic or polyurethane or whatever, because it's all built into this one solid stain. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope if you're not yet a subscriber that you consider subscribing. Until next time, bye-bye.